Hi, this is Professor Bauer. Welcome to week 4 of Project Contracts and Procurement, ICT 4105. Hope you had a very good holiday weekend. I know I didn't sleep at all. Saturday night, it sounded like a war zone in our area with all the fireworks, etc. But hope you got some rest and ready for another week. Can you believe it's week 4 already? This summer semester seems to go even faster than the ones in the regular year. But I hope you're doing well, and we'll talk a little bit about how week 3 went. Got some observations there, an overview and intro to week 4. I want to take a look at the sustainability evaluation for the organization. That is your 50-point assignment this week, and just remind you of the Zoom room if you're facing any challenges or whatever, the Zoom room that'll be this coming Wednesday. There's a great, in terms of last week, we had some really good discussions on project scheduling. I could tell there's some ICT 4100 project management experts out there. Good back and forth. The sharing on your own, how your own organization handles program scheduling, program management, project and program relationships, I thought was a really good one, reflecting the interests and the issues of each of the organizations. The procurement plan, I had a chance to just briefly look at them yesterday and this morning. They look pretty good on first blush, and like I said, you should have all the grades on those this coming Thursday. Keep up the engagement. It's easy to let your intensity flag, and we're not checking up on every single thing that you're supposed to do. So it's easy to say, well, I don't have to worry about this. Well, cumulatively, that'll hurt you in the end. It'll hurt your overall learning, but more than anything, you won't be able to apply that knowledge in a particular assignment or a particular roll-up toward the end of the term. So keep that in mind. We have activities in this week in reading and instructional materials, the lecture materials, discussions, and our major sustainability evaluations. So keep those in mind. Let's look at the major assignment first of all, because this is 50 points. It's a two-part thing. You look at the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board website. It's a mouthful. SASB, .org, and it gives you a sense of how to evaluate an organization in terms of sustainability. And so your job is to get a high-level baseline of a company. Can be your own company, can be another company you admire, company you hate, all those different kinds of things. We're not going to publish this. It won't be in your portfolio unless you want it to be there. So have at it. If you want to talk to the people in the organization, or if you know people in the organization, you want to talk to them, go right ahead. You're supposed to summarize your research. In other words, you've done research. You don't start writing the summary until you're done, okay? I know it's a blinding grasp of the obvious, but please make sure you do some work before you have to summarize it. Otherwise, you have very little to summarize. I said that. All right. So if you're writing a document to be included in the procurement plan, and you're evaluating this supplier, this potential partner, etc., how would you summarize how they do things with respect to sustainability? As always, the rubric is your friend. This is worth 50 points. The scale starts moving up. The assignments start costing more. The opportunity to catch up or to continue doing well, to build up some lead there, is really important. So in terms of content and clarity, remember grammar, style, etc., and keep that in mind. Make sure this one-page rubric is something you follow, so you'll be in great shape. Finally, this coming Wednesday, 6 to 7 Mountain Time, is the Zoom room. Just to tempt some of you to show up, we didn't have anybody there. I usually leave after about 15 minutes, but if we will actually go through the major assignment. and we'll pick a company and we'll walk through it. We'll get some things from FASB, then we'll apply those to the company, maybe some public reports, etc. And then we go from there. Most of these companies have a sustainability section in their website. You can get a fair amount of information there. So coordinates for the Zoom room are right there. And have a great week in week 4. Do good work. Keep your focus. Come back from fireworks celebrations, etc., etc. Make sure you're practicing good COVID-19 hygiene. And we end with a thought on procurement, and it relates to the people in your organization. And the quote is by someone who you may not know him for procurement, but you know him as being a pretty sharp person. And he said the following: we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. That was Albert Einstein. When you think of our supply chain today, you think of what it has been optimized for. And you could probably include things like the very cheapest manufacturer, an effortless and very low viscosity supply transportation framework. We can move things quickly. We can get them anywhere in the world overnight or in 2 days. Our shipping, our trade partners, our trade barriers, our taxes, our trade imbalances, none of those things are a big issue. And so with that same kind of thinking, how do we fix what we've learned from the pandemic? Have we had any problems in the pandemic? What are they? How can we change them? How do we have a different level of analysis in terms of addressing these supply chain issues than what we have here? You know, we've provided incentives to companies to have the very cheapest labor they can find. Nothing wrong with that. But when they affect the supply chain, or if they should affect quality, or if a partner becomes a competitor in terms of a nation state, how does that affect the way we have to adjust? What are the incentives? If we're talking about bringing manufacturing back to this hemisphere, back to LATAM and North America, what kind of incentives do we need? Do we need tax breaks? Do we need a North American trade agreement part 3 that provides incentives for parts and finished assemblies being made in this hemisphere? Just the kind of things that Mr. Einstein or Dr. Einstein would say, we got to have different thinking because we've got different problems. So anyway, thank you very much for your work. Keep it up, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.